Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and Hell's Paradise. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect dark trio, but Professor Utonium kinda forgot about one, so it's just the dark duo. However, Hell's Paradise is fighting back. Season 2 has some pretty juicy stuff, some pretty hard fights. Specifically, this guy got introduced, he looks really cool, he looks like he's going to start doing some nasty things, very exciting. We got an old man removing his eyeball. That's pretty hype. Now to be honest, I completely forgot what happened in Season 1, so in case you did too, here's the gist. Long story short, they walked around the island, Gabimaru fought a Tensen, nippleless titties, he got severely injured, Mei came in to save him, the others looked around for him, can't find him, they ran into another Tensen, Yuzuriha got slimy, Shion came in, they started jumping him, and they killed him, and Gabimaru, after being separated, ran into one-armed old man and Fuji, they kinda teamed up, he killed two Dochi, those are like the disciples of the Tensen, and Gabimaru used up too much Tao during his fight, his balls are dried up, they're all shriveled up, terrible situation to be in because Tao is basically life force, and once it runs out, you'll die. So he's a little fucked and he begins to lose his memories. And yeah, now that I've hit you with the jizz, we're now in Season 2. Off rip, the opening slaps, visuals in the song go hard, not enough people are talking about it. That is pretty fire, that is some hard stuff right there. Now if that segment got muted, this is the song. So we're introduced to the people on the mainland, Shugen and Chika, both Asaemon, and Shugen is supposedly the GOAT. He's their emergency protocol. If Piss goes to diarrhea, you hit him up, and once he's deployed onto the battlefield, it's fucking over. And Chika, he's the apathetic type, we don't get much from him, but he's the first to come back from the island, and he dragged a giant tentacled blobfish back with him. So he's definitely up to something, and he's a total freak. So they're assembling a new group to send him to the island to check on the previous one. Then Gabimaru runs into Chobe, and this man didn't waste any time, he immediately strikes him, trying to catch him with his pants down, but Gabimaru just snaps his neck. However, he can heal, his Tao is pretty big, and he grabs his leg and gives our boy a concussion. So Gabimaru says, alright, let me lock in, this guy's making me look bad. He hits him with the double spin kick, and Gabimaru gets nasty, he sticks his fingers in his eyeball and just straight up yanks that shit out. But Chobe is able to put a stop to the combo with a foot to the face. However, Gabimaru's not gonna eat feet for free, it comes at the cost of his tendon. Then they go back in, Gabimaru's had enough with the hand-to-hand, he's feeling freaky. Chobe tries to hit him with the right left, and just look at Gabimaru. He's lunging at him with his mouth wide open like it's a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. Chobe's looking at this and he is perplexed. And he takes a fat bite off of his neck. This man is an animal. I'm watching this shit and I'm hurting. I completely forgot how crazy he fights. Everything to him is a weapon. If someone's coming at you with their mouth wide open in a fight, you're gonna fly to a different country, change your identity, and hope he doesn't find you. Or pull out a gun. But then, Gabimaru begins to get his ass beat, because he's in no shape to fight. But he's still able to take a few fingers from him, and Chobe's lucky he still has his pants on, otherwise, who knows what else he might bite off. Now Toma starts moving in on the others, and he goes in on Tamiya. Clearly, he doesn't watch anime, old man with a sword, that's a combo that can rival fucking God's strongest soldier. Oh look, this guy's one arm, I'm gonna fuck him up, it's gonna be like stealing candy from a baby. Biggest mistake of his goddamn life. Goes in, gets his sword grabbed, and he headbutts him into another dimension. And the disrespect is a little crazy. He tells him to pick his sword back up and he'll fight him without even drawing his sword. And if you lose, I'm fucking your grandma. And unfortunately for our boy Toma, he gets his ass beat, smacked around like a sack of shit. Old man just beat the last bit of testosterone out of him. He'll be having nightmares about this. He'll be waking up in cold sweats with piss in his pants. This is pretty embarrassing. He's coming in, trying his absolute hardest, and he's just getting fucking bodied. Old man is just twerking all over him. Meanwhile, Gabimaru is forced to pop his ult because he forgot how to use Tao, and his memories of his wife are a blur, and he's trying to disregard his emotions. But with Tao, you have to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses, so without that, he's getting his ass handed to him. So he starts burning him up, hitting him with a couple rocks, trying to destroy him before he can regenerate. So Chobe decides to also pop his ult, he starts morphing into something else, tentacles coming out of his asshole and shit, and he begins flapping them around. So Gabimaru starts spamming his special moves, up, down, up, left, right, square. But it's not doing anything. And Chobe's brain is also completely fried and scrambled because of his ult. He's going insane, he's just hitting everything around him while watching two mentally ill people fighting over air. And they're exerting an ungodly amount of Tao. Satoma quickly comes in, taking his brother's attacks head on, snapping him back to reality. And seeing this, Gabimaru decides to capitalize on the situation. They're having an emotional scene, an emotional moment. No, fuck that. It's time to kill two brothers with one stone. He's about to incinerate them. However, Mei realizes that he'll die if he uses any more Tao. So she uses her power, destroying the ground, throwing off their footing. And this man Gabimaru, even when all odds are stacked against him, the fight's over, the ground just exploded, Chobei's falling down the pit, he's done. He kicks a fatty rock at his head as a last fuck you. And Chobei regains his consciousness, he saves Toma, and the two get separated. Now Mei is also in shambles because she used up too much Tao, and she's getting big in more ways than one. Then they walk around and run into Sagiri and friends. And Sagiri, after seeing Gabimaru's health bar, decides to put him down. Gabimaru tries to resist, but can't, and she helps circulate his Tao, slowly restoring it, and he's regaining his memories. Oh shit, would you look at that? It appears that I too am very much low on Tao myself. I think I could use a bit of help. So they all team up, get inside a cave, come up with some plans, and Gabimaru starts talking about his wife, so Yuzuriha says, "Yeah, so about that, I suspect that she doesn't actually exist. Because it is pretty damn odd for a trained killer like him to all of a sudden have a wife." Puts hand on his shoulder. "Hate to break it to you, dude, but she doesn't exist. Your wife is not real." "Oh shit. No, I'm sure she's real. I know it's hard, but you gotta snap out of it. You're in the denial stage. Take your meds, the village chief used illusions to trick you into fighting for someone that doesn't exist. But Gabimaru is pretty goddamn certain that she's real. Her name is Yui, and she exists. I'm not coping, this is some real stuff right here," says Gabimaru. And he knows she's real because he's slowly gaining memories of her. His memories are locked in. And now his Tao is back and he's in good condition to fight again. So they try to understand Tao better, they start training. By training, I mean Gabimaru just dog walking all of them. Meanwhile, Chobei is just fighting whatever moves after getting separated from everyone. And he runs into Rian, the leader and the strongest Tensen. Man killed a bunch of bots, a bunch of NPCs, and skill-based matchmaking said, "I've seen enough. Bring in John, the ruler of hell." Or some might even call him the hell of this paradise. Chobei immediately gets his arm blown off, and his regeneration is ridiculously fast. His arm fully healed and reattached itself almost instantly. The severed part barely fell and it's already back together. To put it into perspective, that's as fast as a singular human blink. It is disgustingly fast. His regeneration is damn near as fast as mine. So Rin says, this guy's kinda built different. Time to capture him and study his Tao. He starts blasting him with a bunch of balls, so Chobei has no choice but to resort to his ult once again. But this time, instead of busting it all out at once and losing his mind, he'll edge his transformation so he can still have control over his body. And Chobei is fucking gaming. He overwhelms him with his attacks, one slips through, and another goes straight through his stomach, and he expands his hentai tentacles and just blows him up. And he stops regenerating. But that was merely a clone, and he has a fuck ton of him. They surround him, and he gets one-tapped. Ah, god fucking damn it, get me the fuck out of it. Now hold on a minute. Chobei wakes back up, and this is where the series truly peaks. We're edging into the climax here. Turns out having the Tensen capture you isn't so bad after all. So she explains that there are 5 attributes of Tao, and they all affect each other. And she wants to circulate their Tao as it'll benefit them both. She'll gain a deeper understanding of it, and it'll also replenish his Tao. And to do that, they'll need to perform Bochu Jutsu, aka the bedroom rodeo, the insertion of the penile member into the vaginal canal, or in other terms, sex. Yes! That is the single greatest deal of all time. Before she could even mention anything about it recovering my Tao, my brain's already in my dick, I'm in. As a matter of fact, I'll even be generous and let you study my Tao more than once. Twice, 3 times, you name it, just let me know, just to make sure we don't miss anything crucial here. Chobei tries to play it cool, I don't want any of that. But then he sees this expression of hers and his neurons are activated. The voices in his nether region started speaking to him. Yeah, I'd bet it'd be tough to run with a diamond heart penis. So amazing stuff happens, and we switch over to Mei, where she explains about this freaky island. So the Tensen and all the creatures on it are made by a single human. So there's a guy from 1,000 years ago named Shufu, their master. He was researching for immortality through Taoism. And on this island, he found a way to manipulate Tao. And Tao is the source of life, it's in basically everything, even inanimate objects. So that's how the Tensen are able to just make shit happen. They can move things around, like they have telekinesis. So he started fucking around trying to find out, and after numerous fucks, he eventually found out. He hit the jackpot with the Tensen, a fusion of human and plant Tao. Shit like that. And through their continuous practice of Tao, they're able to maintain their Tao for much longer than an average human being. Think of Tao like a battery. When you first pop into this world, you're at 100%, but then as you age, you do things, it'll slowly deplete. But the Tensen found ways to slow down that process through certain techniques, and this practice is called Nai Tanho. And they continued to stay on the island to do more research and try to concoct the perfect elixir that grants you immortality without needing to do any training. And that's called Gai Tanho. However, that stuff is still under development, they haven't rolled out any new updates for it. But the cheap knockoff version, its shittier brother, is very much usable. With the Temu version, they gather human lives, turn them into flowers, plants and stuff, and they extract their Tao and consume it, and obviously those people die. So they're kinda like recharging their phone with another phone's battery. And this potent elixir is called Tan. And that's how they've been extending their lifespan for so long, staying young, having juicy assets, and pretty much living forever as long as they consume more and more Tao. And now Mei starts turning into a tree, because her tanden, the part where a person's Tao is, important stuff, was damaged by Rian. So Rian and Mei were the first students made by Shufu, but Rian got a little lost in the sauce and killed many people trying to achieve that immortal elixir. Mei tried to stop her, but things did not go as planned. So Tree Man tells Mei to consume him, explaining that this is his atonement because his wife and daughter turned to trees way before him, so when he found her, he only helped her because she reminded him of his daughter. He was just taking care of her so he could feel like he had a family again. But in the end, it's not real, it's all just pretend. But Mei lets him know that they were a real family. And Tree Man gets consumed. Really sad stuff right here. R.I.P. Tree Man. And Mei's back to her smaller self. Now surely Mei survives till the end of the story and lives a good life. Otherwise, it's just fucking depressing. Now, Forest Simon, along with 50 ninjas, are on their way to the island as backup. We're also introduced to Kiyomaru, his little kid, but try to take his nose and he'll fuck you up. And there's Izuzu, she's big and strong. Are you sure you guys are real and you won't betray us? You're kinda suspicious. Don't worry, you can trust us. And just to prove our loyalty, I'll stick a blade through my neck right now. Stick a what through your neck? Well, fuck. Make that 49 ninjas. He had 2 swords as well. I thought it was gonna be somewhat kinda good, but I guess we'll never know. So the ninjas are actually sent here by the chief to kill Gabimaru. They all make it to the island, the main crew finds out about this, and they start glazing the fuck out of Shugen, saying he is the GOAT. He can actually perceive Tao. He's the guy who trained the guy who trained him. Hip hip hooray, we're getting help. However, he's a by the book, metal pipe up the anus, follow the rules type, criminals equal bad, kill all of them. So it is pretty guaranteed it's not gonna let the criminals go, let alone team up with them. So those guys are immediately greeted by a giant thing praying. Shugen just goes in, breaks its kneecap, the monster tries to put his hands on him, but he says fuck off and blows its head up. Didn't even question what's going on, what the fuck's happening, who is this guy, just went straight to the climax, zero foreplay. And he continues to walk around throwing hands, killing everything. But then, he comes across the body of his master, Aizen, or at least half of it. And this guy, despite him being gone so early into the series, he actually left quite the impression because of how fast he shot the bed. He has one eye, looks cool, is nonchalant, he was teaching others, and he was assigned to look after the scariest looking criminal there is. With that, you'd expect him to be insane and he'd take out a Tensen with him or something, but no. Screw the Tensen, this man didn't even take 10 steps. Set foot on the island, didn't encounter a single monster, and the next thing he knew, his blade snapped in half in front of his eyes and his heart fell to his scrotum. So seeing this, the criminals are 100% going to have to fight Shugen. The 3 start praying for their dead comrades, but they're interrupted by a Dochi coming in with a couple monsters. Now it's Izuzu's turn to show some moves. She carries around 2 swords, and she puts their bases together and holds on to the middle, filthy insane grip strength. She goes in, strikes its weapon, and she slices off its leg. And now, Kiyomaru comes in with the spin jutsu, and he absolutely obliterates it. So the 2 continue to slice up monsters, and the ninjas are like goblins climbing up the monsters and repeatedly stabbing it. Meanwhile, Shugen is still mourning, so one of the monsters decides to take advantage of this since they're getting absolutely bodied. Might as well go in, grab a free kill, make my stats look great. Well, that was an attempt. Then this man starts chipping his blade, damaging it just so the enemies can feel as much pain as possible. Effectiveness? Fuck that. His top priority is to urinate on their corpses. Cabbage Dude notices his strength and goes, "Ah yes, finally. A worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary." He charges up his massive attack, the screen fades to white, and the next thing he knows, he's got his ass buried in the sand getting his face carved up. The moment that screen faded to white, I knew he was fucked. I've seen these situations before. Meanwhile, the main crew is still trying to come up with an escape plan. So since there are 5 attributes of Tao, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, they can be used to counter each other. They each have strong and weak matchups, and since their only way back is through Horai to Tensen's palace, they'll go ahead and grab the elixir and escape. And now's a really good time because things are about to get real chaotic. So they have to escape by boat, specifically through the gate beneath Horai, because sea monsters are trained not to attack boats leaving from that area. Then they all begin their training for their final battle. Yuzuriha is teaching them how to conceal their Tao, that way they're going to be somewhat invisible. Gabimaru's teaching them how to snap their necks and stop their hearts. Personally, I wouldn't take his lessons, and surprisingly, no one can do it. How odd. Then Shion tells them about their Tao attributes. He and Sagri are wood, Gabimaru, Tamiya are fire, Toma and Yuzuriha are earth, Fuji's metal, and Nurigai and Mei are water. Shion is doing God's work. The amount of knowledge he has is pretty goddamn useful. And Mei also comes in clutch. She remembers the Tensen's Tao attributes. Jufa is fire, Taufa is wood, Sujin and Ran are water, Guifa is metal, and Rian and Mudan are earth. Well, I guess Mudan doesn't really matter, that guy's dead. So if your Tao counters theirs, it is somewhat playable, it is survivable. If it's the opposite, you're gonna have to get ready. Go ahead, put both hands up, bring them together, and start praying. Alright, so they're going to separate into 2 groups. Gabimaru, Yuzuriha, and Sagri will retrieve the elixir, while the others will secure the boat. And Mei's actually joining Gabimaru and friends, because before she leaves, she wants to ask Rian and Shufu, the Grandmaster, why they suddenly became assholes. They used to be nice people. And after that, she wants to leave the island and live a normal life. Okay, the author isn't evil enough to have her suffer, lose her somewhat father, and kill her as well, right? That would be pretty fucking diabolical. However, I do not like what she just said, and live a normal life. That is a scary line to say if you want to live. A little sketchy, but now here's a nice close-up shot of Taufa growing a pair of honkers. Nice. So Chobe's been invited to the Tensen Orgy Palace, and Rian introduces him to Banko. It's used to extract large amounts of Tao at once, stacking them until it becomes this super mega potent Tan. You take a sip of that shit and you'll reach true enlightenment. You'll start flying, you'll see beyond the universe, you'll live forever. However, she still needs more humans to reach that quality. Right now, a sip of it will only make you orgasm a couple times and extend your life a little. So she says his Tao might be the final key. Now it's nighttime, and Gabimaru and friends are infiltrating their palace. And once again, Mei comes in with the MVP performance, giving them information about the castle's layout. The Sex Dungeon. They seek immortality through gland-to-gland combat. The Breathing Technique Center. Sujin watched Demon Slayer and thought, that's pretty cool. And Ran focuses on physical exercise, Guifa focuses on meditation, and Mudan focuses on nothing, he's dead. And the elixir is in Rian's palace. And luckily for them, she's not there at night because the flower closes, she can't do any research. So they make it to the roof and they use their Tao to search for the elixir. And I really like the scene here. We get some ninja stuff from Gabimaru and Yuzuriha. They're both stealthily approaching the guards and assassinating them. Yuzuriha has Mei on her back as she's doing flips and shit. Pretty exciting stuff. Then they make it to the palace. Gabimaru doesn't sense the Tensen in there. But no, they got baited. Ran had his Tao concealed and he was waiting for them. Turns out, Chobe told them that he can sense his brother's Tao and that they're coming. Now don't be mistaken, he didn't snitch because of the torture. He just said fuck those guys, the torture is just part of the research. He's just a hater. So the Tensen plan to capture them because these guys are built different. They survived for way longer than they should have and they also killed a Tensen. So their Tao must be some pretty high quality stuff. And the others get separated and they meet different Tensen. This kind of reminds me of Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, but without breaking the bank. We're a few minutes into the plan and the whole operation has already gone to shit. It's all falling apart. And to add piss to the shit, Ran's attribute is water, countering Gabimaru. And the elixir isn't even here. Ran baited them, and he can change the castle's layout. That's how everyone got separated. So Sagri and Mei are going to find the elixir while Gabimaru and Yuzuriha hold them off. And thankfully, Yuzuriha's earth attribute counters water. Ran immediately goes in with a kick and quickly tries to explode Gabimaru's head, and he just starts swinging at him. But Gabimaru is able to dodge all of it, and Ran does whatever the fuck that is. I guess this is the ultimate picking up the soap stance to make sure your asshole stays protected. Then he traps Mei's foot, so Gabimaru goes for the backflip off the pillar into a stomp maneuver, and he starts spamming attacks, but Ran's chilling, is high-fiving his foot and shit. But that's when Yuzuriha zooms in from the side, titties damn near spilling out. She imbues her kunai with her Tao, she learned this a bit back, and throws it at his back. However, Ran is not natty, so it just bounces right off. It's like trying to penetrate a titanium wall with a popsicle stick, and he kicks the two away. So Ran's using Tao to form an armor around his body, so not only do you have to penetrate his thick-ass armor, but he's also going to regenerate. So Gabimaru says, enough is enough, time to bust out the special move. He kicks rocks at him, but Ran says, nah, I'm good on rocks, you can have them back. Luckily, Gabimaru's a mini tank, so he gets up and tells Yuzuriha it's time to lock in. Ran's over there scratching his head. What do you mean, are these people intellectually challenged? You can't just randomly lock in and magically penetrate my armor. Until, all of a sudden, his cheek caves in and he goes flying across the place. Ran's not smiling anymore. He's also gonna start locking in. So Gabimaru is able to do this because Tao is like a current surrounding your body. So if your attribute counters theirs, it'll disrupt their flow, meaning damage can be done. However, if you get a bad matchup, you can purposely weaken your Tao, let the opponent's Tao flow into your body, become one with their Tao, and then you throw it back at them. Like becoming one with the water, Bruce Lee type of shit, I believe. It's kinda like Garo's water bending fist technique where he deflects his opponent's attacks back at them. Then the two go absolutely insane, dishing out hands like machine guns. However, doing this is extremely risky because if your Tao is in its weakened state and you take one hit, your guts are shooting out of your ass. And all this damage doesn't mean anything, he'll just heal it all back up. Now Sagri is able to finally free Mei's foot, so the two quickly run off to look for the elixir. Ran tries to stop them, but Gabimaru comes in with the massive D, so Ran decides to weaken his Tao so he'll stop fingering his own ass. But that's a rookie mistake, because now Yuzuriha pops up with her acidic jizz rope and gojofies his ass, splits him in two right at the stomach. Critical hit, massive damage done, and she made sure to strike a pose after. Then she goes in to finish him off, fantastic movement from Yuzuriha, she also finishes me off. But then, Ran transforms into his monster form. Now this is where the real fight begins. He starts throwing out omnidirectional punches and Gabimaru gets sent flying out the palace. And now for the most devastating part about all this. You might want to grab a seat. Yuzuriha got stabbed by a piece of the building. Now this is some real life concerning shit here. And Gabimaru has definitely seen better days. That is the craziest sounding knee to the body I've ever heard in my goddamn life. His ribs just shattered to 1,000 pieces, both lungs collapsed. It is so over, his insides have just been vaporized. And he gets grabbed by the head and slammed to the ground like a toddler playing with an action figure. So Yuzuriha quickly grabs him with a rope and they start running. Fuck this guy, is cheating, we gotta come up with something else. But he catches up to them and chops down on the two. Luckily Yuzuriha didn't take any damage, Gabimaru was able to block it. But his hand slices through his arm and into his body. Gabimaru's dead, it's over. I'm pretty sure his heart got absolutely crushed, and his body is about to split in two, and he gets thrown to the side. That's it. This paradise really is hell, and we don't come back to him for a very long time. We just move over to the Sex Dungeon Squad. And this is the meaty part. This is actually where the juice lies. Episode 7. These guys are up against Taufa, Jufa, and Chobei. And Chobei invites his brother to join them, and he walks over. Now the situation just went from fuck to fuck times 2. I know Thomas asked, but just like in video games, it's always better to have one clueless teammate jerking around drawing some of their attention than an AFK one. But as he reaches him, the brothers quickly unsheath their swords, take off the Tensen's eyes, and they swap targets for reasons unbeknownst to the average person, only the brothers know why. Jufa gets slashed across the chest, and Taufa's head comes flying off. That right there is called a bait. They were pretending. And thank God that was the case, because I'm fairly certain Fuji and Tamiya are getting fucked into the afterlife if we were 2v4. No disrespect, but they are not getting more than a quarter of an episode. A bunch of flashbacks and maybe they might just get half. So Chobe is helping them out because they looked after his brother, and also he could care more about ants than the Tensen. But of course, that's not the end. Now it's the brothers up against Jufa, a rematch, and Taufa is up against Tamiya and Fuji. And this part slaps voluptuous ass. However, I can't really hear the fight music, they gotta turn that shit up and just really break my eardrums. Anyway, Chobe goes in, Jufa almost loses his right eyeball, couple parries coming in, and he goes to slice his arm off, but he just eats it. So he goes for a devious flip, tries to have him smell his balls, misses, tags Toma in, and the two start double teaming his asshole. Crazy good combo, though none of the slashes are cutting him. Jufa has eyeballs at the back of his head, so he ducks that. Toma goes for the stab, he sidesteps, pushes the sword away, and he palms his face. So Chobe quickly comes in to show him how it's done, goes for the stab, and he fucking trims his nose hair, and he hits crouch. And out of nowhere, Toma from the top rope comes in with his whole body weight and slices his head off. But this is not Demon Slayer, they're chill about losing heads. So he shoots out a bunch of projectiles and regrows his head, getting ready for round 2. The two run back in and their chemistry is insanely on point to the point where it feels like he's fighting one person. So he quickly resorts to plan B, pulls out the milkers, 2 massive distractions coming in. And she instantly fires out a projectile. Chobe almost got caught with his stick in his hand, and Toma comes in low, slashes up, and he splits her face. Jufa realizes she's gotta lock in and put on her mean face for this one. Meanwhile, Taufa's getting ready for the fight. She removes her rope, and Old Man's ready fighting the horny demons. He is a full-time gooner. He sees curves and it's like a flashbang. All his focus just completely thrown out the window. So Taufa immediately goes in on him, her speed catches him off guard, and she amplifies her right arm. Lands a clean body shot. Old Man spitting hella blood. He was not ready. He's no match when faced with the competitive gooner's arm. And she buffs her leg, kicks him in the face, sending him flying. Fuji's crack begins sweating, but Taufa says he's kinda cute, and she invites him to perform a little bojujutsu action. But Fuji's a man of God and he says hell no. Tamiya gets back up and the two go in on her, but she's been taking her creatine so she just tanks both their attacks. And let me tell you, this duo is a little dizzy. As of now, they are the triple Z duo. 0 Tau control, 0 team chemistry, and 0 fucks given. Tamiya damn near put his blade through Fuji's face. Luckily, he's able to dodge it and recover from that, and he does whatever the fuck this is, and he cuts off both her feet. Very nice stuff, I'm taking them and keeping them for later. But then she pops her Tau blast and the two get sent away. Fuji realizes they're just gonna get slapped without Tau, and it's a terrible look if they do fuck all, because his attribute counters hers. But Tamiya says, you shut your filthy mouth. You mention Tau one more time and your head's gonna end up in your ass. Can't teach an old dog new tricks, he says, as he goes in, eats a blast in the back of his head, gets his face lifted up by her foot. Some of the most diabolical act I've ever seen in my life. Old Man does not deserve any of this. Get behind me, I'll sacrifice myself, take me instead. And she sends him back to class to learn more about Tau. Then Tamiya says, she must be having fun killing all these people. And all of a sudden, her expression does a complete 180. And we learn that Taufa doesn't enjoy killing, she just consumes humans to live and train, that's their entire purpose. And they've been doing it for 1,000 years, yet the elixir is nowhere to be found. So that's why she decided to put up this quirky, goofy facade as a coping mechanism to keep moving forward. And the two get annihilated with multiple blasts. Now these two, even after taking a truckload of damage, are still horny for more action. Tamiya runs in, and all of a sudden, he begins to see Tau. He's able to dodge it and slice her face in half. Old Man's beginning to learn. I understand Tau now, says Tamiya before getting blasted in the cheek and flying into a pillar. Then she goes in, about to finish him off and pop his skull. But Fuji flips in from the heavens, pretty sick shot right here, but Taufa dodges it. He goes in to dig her guts out, misses, and she fires her Tau. And this play from him is pretty fucking neat, some nice improv. Since he can't see Tau, he throws up a piece of cloth in front of him, letting Tau pass through it first, so he's able to somewhat see which direction it's coming from. And he dodges it. And he goes in, swinging his sword around, but Taufa's dodging all of them with ease, hands behind the back, and just look at her face. She is not impressed one bit, she's just playing around. To her, they're just a bunch of kids trying to hit her, all she has to do is put her hand up and hold them back by the head. And she blasts him right in the stomach. she grabs his neck and buffs up her arm. At this point, I thought it was over. I thought she was gonna squeeze his neck so hard his head's gonna pop out. So she holds him still, sets up a bunch of towel balls, and he gets blasted. But somehow, he's still kicking, he ate all the balls. However, the two are now in rough shape, so Tamiya says maybe this old dog's gotta start learning new tricks. And he recalls Shion telling them that they need to shut out reality and let their senses take over. But knowing Tamiya, he probably didn't even focus on what Shion was saying, he just recalled Shion being blind and he's able to use Tao, so he knows exactly what he has to do. He does the unthinkable. So he sticks the little hook on his hand into his eyeball and just straight up gouges it out. Shit popped right off like a champagne cork. Absolutely insane. Man yanks out his own eyeball. Tamiya got vibranium balls. Anything eye related is just fucking horrifying. Now I was wondering, if you were in this position, which is worse? This or slashing your eye with your sword? Me personally, I would jump in front of a train before doing any of that. Could he have just closed his eyes? Probably, but that's how losers think. Now the only thing Tamiya sees is red. But now he's able to sense everything. He sees it all. He sees the thread that binds all existence. An old man starts going crazy. He picks up Fuji and he's out here looking like Neo from the Matrix. Old man is dodging everything. He is absolutely unleashed. And we get a flashback to when old man wasn't an old man. His master would often shit all over him and basically teach him that his greed for strength was holding him back. What he needed to do was throw away his attachment to power and look closely at what's left. The more he gains, the harder it gets for him to see himself clearly. Tamiya didn't get it at first, but now he finally understands it. The less you have, the better you see, says Tamiya as he begins to have less and see better. And he weaves through all the projectiles. He gets close, slashes her body, a clean cut. And I don't know what's going on with the drawings, but they are insanely beautiful. Now his attribute doesn't hinder hers, so she just keeps healing back up, but Tamiya won't stop, he keeps cutting her down over and over. And just look at how nicely drawn these scenes are. It is crazy good. Now it is up to Fuji, because he counters her. However, he still can't control his Tao. So he decides to run in and grab onto her. Everyone's a little confused, now's not the time for that. And he explains that hindrance stops the Tensen from regenerating, so as long as he keeps motorboating her and Tamiya cuts her in half while he's at it, she will die. So he holds onto her, maintaining contact as Tamiya goes for a swing while trying his best not to slice Fuji in half. And holy fucking midriff. Tamiya can't bear to cut something so gorgeous, so he decides to close his eyes, focusing on what's left. Full concentration, maximum focus, and he goes for it. Clean fucking cut. Bam. Fuji's upper body slides right off. No, Taufa took severe damage. Meanwhile, these two haven't gone anywhere because they can't hinder his Tao. And then, Taufa starts transforming into her big monster form and she connects with Jufa, and they start fusing. Then we get a Tensen backstory. So all of them, aside from Mei, were made by Rian around the same time. They're raised and trained alongside each other. Taufa and Jufa are really close, they're like twins, love each other, always together, everything's fine, sunshine and rainbows, until one day Rian calls them all in and tells the two to smash pissers. Everyone's a little confused. And everyone gets assigned a specific kind of training. After all, that's why they were created. And they're told to consume the Hoko to replenish their Tao. And he turns them all into their adult forms. And from there onwards, things started getting freaky. And eventually, they ran out of Hoko to consume. So they had to resort to eating humans. Now, Taufa and Jufa obviously aren't fans of the freaky training program they have to follow, and Taufa doesn't want to consume the Hoko or the people. She feels too bad about it. However, this is to achieve true immortality. But then, Jufa learns that they all believe they'll never achieve perfect immortality. So he freaks out. Taufa suffered for absolutely nothing. But everyone seems fine with all of this, so he believes they've all lost their minds. And Taufa's also losing it. She accepts that they have to consume humans, there's no other choice, and she tries to pretend like it's a normal thing. And I can't say this enough, look at how insanely good these scenes are drawn. It is fucking nice. The animators are cooking, they're locked in the studio. So Jufa comforts her, telling her that no, it is normal, it's not crazy at all, because I'll also do it. That way at least they'll both be wrong together and still have each other. And we're back to the present. The two have transformed into their Kishikai form and they start flying, releasing spores, and anyone hit by it will start tweaking. So Chobei goes in with his half transformation and slices the two with his tentacles, and since his attribute is metal, it's effective against Taufa. Honestly, I kinda feel bad for Taufa, she's just getting hit with counter after counter, terrible matchup she's getting. Then the two let him know that he's not the only one with hentai tentacles. They slice off his arm and stabs the shit out of him, and they drag him into a bunch of things and throw him back. So now the four are gonna have to team up. And while all this is happening, Shugen and friends are still discovering more corpses of their friends, and he's now taming the monsters with the whistle from the dochi, and he's using them like horses. What the fuck is going on? So the two became an alien spaceship, firing a bunch of spores while flapping their tentacles around, and all of a sudden, Fuji and Toma hold hands. What are they cooking? I thought at first. And Fuji slashes the twin, and he's able to damage them. So by holding on to Toma, he's able to strengthen his Tau, because earth plus metal equals good, so that allows him to channel out enough Tau to damage Taufa. Once again, Taufa is just getting fucked over. And this creates an opening for Tamiya to come in with a massive strike, top to bottom, massive slash. Completely whiffs that shit. It was atrocious. It was not even remotely close, not even on the same planet. Then they turn inside out, focusing on defense rather than offense, trying to protect Taufa. So they all start running in, slicing up the tentacles to get close to them, and Tamiya sustaining an ungodly number of injuries, multiple holes in his body. Organ damage. Left eye, missing. Left hand, missing. What's next, his left leg? And while we're at it, might as well take out his left testicle too, fuck it. However, he perseveres. And Toma's taking back shots for Fuji. They need him to finish off Taufa. And some way somehow, Tamiya found a way to get under them, and once again, the animators are doing God's work with how the scenes are drawn, and he slashes down, straight up just splitting the two in half. Didn't know he got it in him like that, didn't know he was that crazy strong. So they try to regenerate, but that's when Fuji and Toma go in on Taufa, and Chobei goes in on Jufa. Time slows down, everything's in slow motion, silence fills the air, tension rises, Fuji's sword descends, Chobei farts, and the silence ends. Fuji cuts straight through her tendon, and Chobei stabs Jufa's tendon. And that's a wrap for the two. Taufa slowly disintegrates and turns into a peach. Pretty sad stuff, honestly, with the way she died. And Jufa lives on for a little bit, but Chobei hid a bottle containing Tau water. He got it from Rien's place when he was showing him around. He's been keeping it in his stomach. So he starts pouring water Tau on him since he's a fire user, and kills him. This scene is a little silly, I'm not gonna lie. We went from slashing heads in half, limbs falling apart, crazy battles, complete brutality, to splashing holy water at the devil to end it all. It's like ending an epic fight against a vampire by throwing garlic at him. But yeah, it's kinda sad for these two, to be honest. At least they're able to be together even in death, so that's a little better.
あなたがペアでよかった、ジュファ。
Meanwhile, Sagri and Mei make it to Rentan Palace, where the elixir is at, or at least supposed to be. Neither Rien nor the elixir is here, only Guifa is to be found. And she is pretty chill, she's really shy and she meditates all day, she won't fight you unless you fight her, pretty fair. So Sagri asks her to just let them go, and she says sure. However, going back won't mean anything, you'll all just die. And with her Tau, she shows them an illusion of what Rien's doing. So Rien's preparing a ship with his friends and family, and they're ready to go on a vacation to the mainland. They're about to fuck shit up. They're packing a bunch of butterflies with the shiny erection onto the ship, and then they'll have them hatch on the mainland, go around, inject every human with the plant juice, and once they all become flowers and plants and shit, they'll come together, becoming this giant thing that will result in the perfect elixir Rien's been seeking his whole life. Sagri asks why. Guifa explains that humans are simply an ingredient for the elixir to them. Mei asks why, because their grandmaster did research for the people, and using human life is wrong. Guifa explains that a couple hundred years ago, they sent out their first bait. Humans came to the island for the first time, and they realized, holy shit, this is some high quality Tau we're dealing with. This is some clean stuff, 99% pure. And that's because humans are full of doubt, and doubt is the essence of Tau. Humans have a bunch of bullshit going on. They have a bit of this, a bit of that, love, hate, life, death. They are filled with emotions unlike the Tensen. And it is so good that they can't even think of any other ingredient to replace it. So that's why this operation will continue. Now we check in on Shion and Nurugai against Sujin. And it is a bloody shit show, a bloodbath. Shion is in rough shape, Nurugai seems like she was spectating the entire fight, so Shion has chopped down Sujin over 215 times. And Sujin is still regenerating because the two can't hinder their opponent's Tao. So the only way to take him out is to just raw dog the fuck out of him. Just keep slashing until you exhaust his regeneration. Just keep beating the fuck out of him until he eventually dies. Now when they discussed this plan earlier, Mei heard this and she said, yeah no, that's fucked. You're gonna have to cut them down 1,000 times. Now they're only 200 times in and he can barely hold onto his sword. Now Sujin is also in a very rough state. Man looks like a grumpy grandpa who gets mad at kids for having fun. And he's freaking out because Shion's a fucking beast. He'll keep fighting for as long as he has to. Okay, he will avenge Tensa. Now this episode actually has a lot more emotional scenes than the bloody revenge fight. None of that. It's more emotional. And also I just realized that the name's pronounced Jujin, not Zujin. I was saying it with the hard Z, but they don't do the hard Z. Also, Jujin in season 1 was crazy. She had 2 massive bazookas on her. She probably has the most advanced pair among all the Tensen. So he picks up his dead bodies and throws it at them, but he's not even hitting them, they're just falling in front of them. I don't know what that's supposed to do. He's like laying down traps. And somehow it's working. Shion's slipping on bodies. But he's able to pop his special move, a classic, we even see him use it in the opening, some clean stuff. So he quickly gets up and runs in to slice her tendon, but Jujin dodges, so he only gets a little scratch. And he picks up the broken piece of his sword and throws it at him. Massive hit on the body. However, he is on the verge of death, he is using up too much Tao. So Jujin takes advantage of this and tries to crush him with his dead bodies, but Shion manages to slice his way out of the meatball. Jujin's panicking, so he quickly crawls away into the water. And all of a sudden, Jujin comes back up in the female form, and she's fully healed. Sucks for Shion, but good day for my eyeballs, because if I had to keep looking at that naked old man for one more second, I'm gonna take a page out of Tamiya's book and gouge my damn eyes out. So she's imitating what Guifa does, which is to stay in both male and female forms at the same time, circulating yin and yang, and she partially transforms into her Kishikai form. The two go in, they start smacking her with their swords, but she's blocking all their attacks, and Shion eats a strike to the forehead, sending him straight into a flashback. So his mother was a traveling performer, and his father is, of course, non-existent, an anime classic, and she was the one who gave him his scars. Now I was a little surprised, I thought she slashed his eyeballs, but no, he was born blind, and she just gave him these scars as a part of the performance. And the performance was that she had him dodge customers' wooden swords. That was the play, and they have to pay. Now I know it's a little performance, but doesn't that sound extremely fucked up? You're a customer, you're paying money as a grown-ass man to hit a blind child with a wooden sword? Imagine you're with your friends, so what do you want to do today? I don't know, man, I'm kinda bored. You know what, how about this? How about we go across the street and beat up this blind kid with a wooden sword? Oh shit, let's do that. Okay, it's a challenge, you win, very awesome, but then you come home thinking, wow, what a productive day. You know, I went out today and smacked the shit out of a blind child. Anyway, so they clearly needed money, and Shion can sense Tao since he was little, so all this was no problem for him. And the Yamada saw his potential, so he was recruited into the school, and when asked about his scars, his mother made up some crazy lore like he was this thundercock Chad who was out there fighting non-stop. He actually saved Earth from an alien invasion until one day, he was wounded in battle against the greatest evil humanity has ever seen. But this all happened in the underworld, so nobody knew about this, and that became his lore. Basically, his life was full of lies and bullshit, it wasn't free. Unlike Tensa, who didn't care about his past and only cared about the present. My upbringing, my past, that's not real. We don't even need to worry about that. All my criminal records, that's not even me, I'm a changed man. Do not let my past define the me today. And everyone seemed to accept him, so that's why he admired him so much. He can just be himself. So she attempts to electrocute him, luckily he dodges it, and then he realizes that she's putting up a front. She's using the little that's left of her power to maintain her appearance to make it seem like he has zero chance. However, Shion sees right through it. He slices her arm, stabs straight through her stomach, full raw penetration, and he slices off all her limbs, turning her into a scarecrow. And he drops his sword on her tendon. But since she's regenerating, it's pushing his sword out, so he has to hold it in place. And the vines start growing into his body. So now, it has become a battle of attrition. The person who lasts longer wins. He's just gonna have to tank it all. Now I'm a little confused here, because I'm pretty certain Nurugai can just walk up, slash up all the vines, and free him from his suffering. He doesn't need to be eating all these plants. Now's not the time to become a vegan, now's the time to escape from the island. And it tells Nurugai to escape, so she runs, and now it's up to him. So he feels tremendous guilt for leaving Tensen to die, so he wants to avenge him and then die because he doesn't know if he has the right to live after what he just did, but come on. No, he can't go out like this, we still need him. And luckily, Nurugai makes the right decision, she makes a quick U-turn, comes running back in, thank the lord I would have freaked out if he died in such a preventable way. She rips the vines out of him and gives him a nice warm hug to restore his Tao. Now immediately, Shion felt fear like never before. Man threw his hands up. Nope, this is not me, I'm not doing anything, I'm not that kind of person, I do not stand by whatever's going on right now. Now he tries to get back up to finish Jujin off, otherwise Tensa's suffering was all for nothing. But Nurugai tells him to shut the fuck up and that Tensa did not die with regrets. He actually smiled, knowing the two are going to make it. Shion's a little surprised. That's right, of course you'd be surprised because you didn't see it, you blind bitch, said Nurugai. Shion finally understands it now, and the two hug it out and they will try their best to get to the others. No more dying. Very nice stuff. Now finally, we're back to Gabimaru, and more importantly, Yuzuriha. So we get a flashback, Gabimaru's with his wife, and we see how caring and accepting she is of him despite all the terrible things he has to do. Pretty awesome stuff. Supportive wife, pretty ideal. So he stabs himself with the plant, and like we know, it'll turn you into flowers. But that's only if the flower Tao wins during the merging process. If it balances with your human Tao, then you'll start healing and become like the Tensen. And he has to be on the verge of death to do it so he can focus on regeneration. Shout out May for the explanation. So Gabimaru says, okay, I got it. If show-based rocks for brains ass can do it, so can I. And he starts healing. Immediately he goes in, throwing out more fiery rocks at him. But Ran pulls out the break dancing kick, turns his arm into mom spaghetti, but he's got an upgrade. We are so back. Instant regeneration. He comes back in with a strike to the chest, and immediately gets thrown to the ceiling. Even though he's regenerating, he's still getting countered by Ran's Tao. But his stamina is pretty good with the upgrade. He comes in, dodges the kick, slides under him, gets to his other leg, snaps his ankle, jumps up, and Ran tries to strike him mid-air, but little does he know, Gabimaru got that double jump technique down to a T. Front flips over it. It would have been sick if he front flipped that into a kick, but a right hand to the face works. Then of course, he pulls out his spinjutsu, flashing him and burning him up. But now, that's nowhere near enough. He needs Yuzuriha's Tao attribute to take him out. So she gets up and says, let's fuck his ass for destroying my favorite clothes that I stole. Let's get cooking. The ninja duo is pretty cool, and look at Ran's bitch ass clapping, thinking it's all fun and games, not knowing he's about to get his cheeks pounded. Now this scene is incredible stuff. Nice things happening on my screen, it is legendary. This is like when Aizo started playing the Jujutsu Kaisen finale. Okay, maybe it's not that legendary, but it is pretty good. Gabimaru quickly throws his jizz at him, but this time it's no ordinary jizz, it's the Smurf jizz, and he gets blinded for a few seconds. Ran's been hit by a flashbang. Then he goes behind him, catches him with his bare cheeks out in the wind, and spits straight fire at him. And Yuzuriha wraps his leg up with the rope, and Gabimaru comes in from behind, gets stabbed by his hand, but he's still able to release some mean flames. But that's not even close to being enough, and Ran's turning it up a gear. The two evade his attack, and Yuzuriha comes in with the great assist, swinging Gabimaru around, and he flashes him, had him stare at the lights. Oh shit, look, bright flashy lights. And Yuzuriha made a whole ass web during all of this and throws it at him, and Gabimaru lights it all on fire, creating chaos, allowing her to swing in like Spider-Man and damage him with her attack. The tide is finally turning, the damage is damaging, the attack is attacking. And then Gabimaru pulls out some insane maneuver. He's doing unspeakable things to this thing. I mean, just look at this. He's about to blow up the whole damn place. I can almost feel the wind from all the way here. My hair's all messed up. What kind of ninja needs this type of ability? Who was he fighting? What were his missions? Was he being sent out to fight some genetically mutated creature? But Ran punches his way out of it, and he starts aim training, one-tapping the rocks around him. So the two continue fighting, Yuzuriha's placing eyeballs, and they're trying to drag the fight out because Mei told them that Kishikai uses lots of Tao. They can't last longer than half an hour. But that's a long ass time and the two are fucking exhausted. But all of a sudden, Ran cracks and begins collapsing. Gabimaru had it all planned out. He was constantly flashing him to overstimulate his senses, forcing him to overconcentrate and lose sense of time. Ran got caught with his pants at his ankles, in 4K, OLED, QLED on a flat screen TV, the caughtest of all caughts. But before going down to 0 Tau, he quickly releases his transformation, allowing him to block Gabimaru's strike. So now it's up to the GOAT to finish the job. But if she uses any more Tau, she will die. But she says, I don't give a shit, I hate you more than I love my life. So Ran quickly kicks Gabimaru away and attempts to pop a domain expansion as a last resort. She runs in and Gabimaru gives her a massive boost. She dodges all the spikes and slashes his tendon. Puts a massive hole in his body with that goddamn kunai. Holy balls. And Gabimaru quickly gets up to regroup with the others, but Yuzuriha tells him to go ahead as she'll rest here for a bit. And once Gabimaru leaves, she starts bleeding out. She undoes her slime jizz that's covering her body, and she's covered in scars. Then we learn that she was trying to live her life to the fullest for both her and her sister, Saya, because she was really sick and died really young. Very sad stuff. But what's even sadder is that she too fucking dies while thinking about her. What is Gabimaru doing? Gabimaru, get your bitch ass back here, man, and carry her. Find somebody to help recover her Tau or something. God damn it, this is terrible news. Then all of a sudden, the palace starts rumbling, and the wall comes tumbling down. And after 7 episodes of traveling, Shugen and friends have finally made it to the scene. Well, to be fair, it's only been a couple of days or hours, I don't really know, but very little time has passed in the show. And holy shit, the finale is the ultimate edger. It was a 24-minute edging session. My dick is sore. So everyone's chilling after pretty much beating up all the Tensen. A bit of goofing around is happening until Shugen with the gang puts an end to the goof. Everyone in the main group gets surrounded by the ninjas because Shugen ordered them to take out all the criminals. But all that stuff can wait because this girl finally takes off her mask and she is a mega stupid banger. Her name is Shija, and she might be the biggest banger of all the bangers in the series. She is top tier. Now I've read somewhere that she isn't actually a she, and her gender is unknown. But if the person looks like that, a little branch is not even going to come close to being a deal breaker. A whole 3rd leg! Can't even see it, I'm penis blind. So she has a crush on Gabimaru, and that's pretty much the whole reason why she's here. Now Rian finds out all the Tensen are gone and more skilled humans have made their way into the palace. So he quickly deploys the Dochi onto the battlefield and tells them to just fuck ass, fight everybody, just kill anything, just make sure they don't get to where we are. So it's become a battlefield, it's war, it's a battle royale, everyone's just fighting whoever the fuck they want, it's a shitfest. And I'm a little worried for the regular ninjas because there are only 49 of them. And that doesn't sound like a lot at all, especially when Tamiya just took out 5 of them in 3 seconds, and one attack from Chobe took out 3 more. So now everyone starts running to the gate, and I don't know why Fuji runs like that, and he's like jumping and skipping like it's all sunshine and rainbows, like he's in a field of flowers. But hey, I mean, good for him. Meanwhile, Shugen is completely farming the Dochi. Those guys are getting bent over each other's dead bodies, it is a fucking slaughter. He is slapping their ass cheeks, it is not close, it is a one-sided spanking. This guy's doing what I thought Aizen was going to do. I know it's gonna be a massive bitch in the ass for the main group to deal with, but I am pretty excited to see him fight. He is a pretty cool looking character. And this little maneuver he does with his sword is pretty cool as well. Damn. Shija and friends made it to where the boats and Rian are, and she can also spit fire. Now she's only here because Gabimaru is going to be here for the elixir. But since she's here a bit too early, she's just gonna fight Rian for fun, while waiting. You know, just a light snack before the main course. And just look at her. If that's a guy, then I guess it's time to turn gay, don't really have a choice. Now Sagri's chilling with the emotional support from Mei, she's taking out all of them. But then the horses come running in, and oh my god, hold on a minute. That's the smell of semen. Yuzuriha is back. This is my exact reaction. They just baited us, jerked us a little, and now she's back looking fresh, brand new clothes and everything. Turns out she just needed time to heal. And she gives a quick report on the situation, and yeah, maybe there are a little more than 49 ninjas, because that seems plenty. Did they clone themselves on the island or something? Great positioning from Yuzuriha. Yuzuriha kissing Sagri, cool stuff. Then Izuzu runs into the two. Sagri's happy to see a friend, but she's planning on taking out Yuzuriha. And Tamiya is in serious trouble. Shugen's hiding in the shadows waiting for him. He is in Saiyan's asshole. One look at this guy and he instantly knows it's gonna be rough. Shion and Nurigai meet Kiyomaru, and the brothers are up against Chika, and it's gonna be a tough one for these guys as well, because this guy doesn't like to fight, therefore he's probably a fucking demon. Meanwhile, Gabimaru's running around trying to get to the elixir, fighting off multiple ninjas trying to jump him. And somehow, Jujin is still alive, and she comes in contact with the big plant, turns into this gigantic thing, starts ejaculating. The series is reaching its climax. Assignment on assignment, Gabimaru running around, ninjas versus Dochi, Shija fighting Rian, Tamiya and Fuji are in deep shit. Who's gonna live? Who's gonna die? 16 different fights are about to go down. And it ends. Season 3 coming in. Who knows? Fuck me in the ass. Hopefully we get a season 3 announcement soon, and I'm kinda surprised by how fast the show's moving. There's 12 episodes this season and most of the Tensen are dead in 6. That is way faster than I expected. But yeah, awesome show, amazing stuff, great second season, and yeah, that's it.